Hello, there's no audio.
Hello,
No
everyone.
audio here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. I'm so happy.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello. Um, so, uh, so again, welcome to this session. I'm so happy to be with you today. Today, I'm going to participate with you part of my story, some highlights from my story. I choose the title "Challenge Your Limits and Dream Big." My name is Tolba. I'm from Egypt. I work as an associate professor of pharmacology at the Faculty of Pharmacy in Shams University, and I'm a cancer research scientist. It started with, I would like to start with this proverb. I like it so much. It's don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits. And it's very, very important because as we go through our life and our careers, we face unlimited amount of challenges and obstacles, and we need to make our mindset is to see the challenges as an opportunity for growth, because always when we face a challenge and it's a very important opportunity to grow and to be more mature and more strong and to be able to help more people in the future. And we need to always have faith that God never give us a situation or a challenge that we cannot conquer. So each one of us has certain capacity, and if we are in a situation for certain challenge or certain obstacle, make sure that you will be able to find out a way to work out and overcome this challenge and to grow to the next level. Okay, because when you overcome one of the challenges, you go to the next level and you find a bigger challenge. So this is life. It started with me very early because I have some personality limitations. Um, before graduation, I was my colleagues in my class. We have my class was 450 students in the Faculty of Pharmacy. So as the last year, there was a prom or something, and I was they voted for me for the most calm and quiet student in the class. And after that year, I was we all graduated, and I worked. Um, I was appointed as a teaching assistant. I started my career in academia. I was appointed as a teaching assistant as the same institution because I was in the top 10 students. And it was very challenging situation because uh, I had this personal limitation. I was very shy to speak with others that I don't know, and my voice tone is not that loud to be able to speak, and the students can hear me without a mic. So this was a very big limitation, and so I worked on myself very much to be able to. Because I had a big sense of purpose. I know that I can illustrate well the scientific material, and I know that I can make it easy for the students to absorb the complex scientific material. So I worked on that limitation, which is my personal limitations, to be able uh, to work efficiently in the university, starting from teaching assistant and going to the next levels. And this is a glimpse from the size of my class. And of course, this photo was in 2019. It was before the COVID-19. I hope it goes away. I hope so. So this was my class. It's very big, and I had it is divided usually in two sessions because the class is very big. Now the class is 700, and we do it the lectures for two sessions, and we have big lecture halls. And now I can stand in front of this big audience and teach them, and they appreciate it so much to learn. Um, so this is this was one of my obstacles. And later on in my career, I was invited to be a speaker in one of the TEDx Cairo Women events. It's as you know, in the TEDx events, it's you speak to an audience that is not expert in the field. So I had to work on simplifying the information and make sure that the information reached to anyone who has no specialized medical background. And in this talk, it was the title of the talk was Cancer and the Castle Gardens. And I was illustrating how immunotherapy represent a new approach in the cancer management, and in a very, very simple way. So it's sad because this talk was in Arabic, because the audience are Arabic speakers, and I'm trying now to make connections with TEDx to make translation for the talk with subtitles. So I hope to do that soon. So the second point I want to stress is that all the magic happens outside your comfort zone. So always seek to go beyond your comfort zone, because this is your opportunity to grow and to go to learn about yourself more and your capabilities and what you can do. So this is my work, my place where I learned, and this is the Faculty of Pharmacy at Shams University. So everything started here. I had all my my academic studies as an undergraduate student, and after that I started my first job as a teaching assistant and started my master's. And of course, during my master's, I had some obstacles with some equipments are not working well, or sometimes you need help in some sort of things, or so always you have obstacles from any any type. So in the start I was very frustrated, and I thought it's very hard to continue like that. But after a while, I started to push through and started to be more independent, to start to reach out for resources, for information. So now you have the internet. You can search for the information at any place. You have a lot of places and a lot of resources, so you can search for the information anywhere, or even you are not confined to this space, the Faculty of Pharmacy. You can go to other medical institutes, neighboring medical, like the Faculty of Medicine, for example, or other universities in Egypt, to seek advice or help from other colleagues or other teams, even if they don't know me. So I started to learn some skills, which is the importance of networking and importance for being independent and not waiting to receive the information from someone else. Like so it's not always the case, like being an undergraduate student. So you are learning, and your professors providing the material and providing some sort of assignments to help you to make to think or to do some research to find more information. But this is now postgraduate studies, so you have to depend on yourself more and more. So I finished my master's, but there was some lag time between finishing my master's thesis and experiments and from the defense day. It was like a year of lag time, but I used this year to learn more techniques. So I was working on my master's on, I was doing studies on animals, animal models, in vivo studies. I started to search for someone to help me to learn about the in vitro studies and the cell cultures, and I started to read more about cancer research and how to do how to write proposals related to in vitro studies on cancer cell lines. And I remember that in this lag time, when I was waiting for my defense, I developed like 3 different proposals for my PhD. And after I finished my defense for master's, the next month I was registered for the PhD degree, and I started my work right away, because I was I developed the skills needed to start the in vitro research. And during my PhD, I was one of my supervisors, one of my mentors. He advised me to search for a scholarship to go to the United States and to do some part of my research over there. So I took that advice, and it was a very valuable advice. And I applied for a scholarship. I didn't apply for a long one because I'm like other the Eastern families, the girls of the Eastern families, uh, we are more attached to our families. So it's very hard to leave my family and to travel alone. So I searched for what is called the Joint Supervision Scholarship. It provides an opportunity for 1 year or less to do part of your research outside Egypt in another university in the United States. So I made use of that opportunity, and I traveled to the US for the first time, and I left my family for the first time. It was a very tough decision, and at the start, it was a very tough time when I took the step, and I traveled, and I'm alone in the US in Texas. Um, but that step was very important. So moving from Ain Shams University, which is my home university, to the University of Texas Medical Branch, which is my first time to go to the US and to work in another country and to learn and do research in another environment. So this step was very important. It was a significant step in my career. I learned not only new research techniques, I learned a way of thinking, I learned about, and it was very important also to go, to take this step. It's from my point of view, it was important to take that step in the PhD, not in the master's, because it's important to develop some skills first, some research skills first, because if you have some basic research skills at hand, so I learned about cell culture techniques and Western blotting, so advanced molecular techniques like Western blotting before I go to the US. And when I went there, I I had the chance to build on that very fast. So I merged with the team in the host university very fast, and I started work with them. I think within a week or something after I completed my vaccinations and the security check and the stuff needed at the start. So I started work with them very early, and so it was very important to build some skills first at my home institute before traveling to the US. That helped me to gain more in a very short time. So at my first time to travel to the US, I stayed only for like 7 months, and I learned a lot about the breakthrough for the microRNAs. That was at 2013. This was a breakthrough for the microRNAs, and I did the remaining part of my research for the PhD, and also I joined with some ongoing studies in the lab related to the microRNAs, and I remember I published a paper with them in that theme. So it's very important, and it's you will find it different when you travel to somewhere else with no basic skills, or when you have some basic or some level of skills before you go, because when you go with high level of skills, you develop more and you can merge at faster rate with the team in the host university. So this is always a good advice to learn as much as you can from your workplace, because I'm sure every institute in Africa has excellent researchers and has some of the researchers who already traveled to other countries like in the US or Europe. So try to connect with colleagues who already had some scholarships or something, and try to learn from them some basic skills before you you plan to go in your own scholarship. This will make a great difference. Okay. Oh, and it was very important. So I stayed only for a short time. It was 7 months, and I finished the remaining part of my PhD dissertation. Of course, I started in Egypt, and I worked like a year and a half in Egypt before I go to the US in my PhD, and I completed a short part, and I returned back to my country to defend. And when I returned back, I was very enthusiastic to share what I learned with as much as possible from my colleagues and my students, and I always take any chance to inject the information about microRNAs and what is the significance for microRNAs, because it was the first time for me to hear about the microRNAs when I was in that scholarship. So I was keen to that everyone I know or everyone that I'm responsible for like teaching that student or that scholar to know about the microRNAs. Even if we are not running research projects in the about the microRNAs, but who knows, maybe in the future this student or this scholar would develop an opportunity or a grant related to that project or that idea or that theme. So it's very good to to uh, to make a plan to transfer the knowledge to as much as possible um, students or colleagues, whatever in your network. This is very important because you are giving back to your country and your community. And after I worked like a year, another 2 years in Egypt after my PhD, um, I, I I learned about another scholarship. It's called it's the Fulbright Scholar Research Grant, and I applied for that, and it was an early point in my career. Um, and it was a very nice opportunity. The scholarship from the Fulbright organization, and also it made a big difference with me. I stayed that time. I stayed for 1 year in the U.S. Um, and it was very important to me. This time I was focusing on learning certain technique, but I returned back with more than that because during the scholarship I had a chance to participate with an abstract in the AACR conference, which is the American Association for Cancer Research. It was the first time for me to join that conference and do a present work over there. So it was very nice because it's the biggest um, meeting for cancer researchers. And when I was there in the AACR meeting, I learned about immunotherapy and how it is an evolving approach in the management for hard to treat cancers. And when I returned back from the Fulbright scholarship, I started focusing on immunotherapy and how to develop strategies to enhance the cancer response to immunotherapy in breast cancer or in triple negative breast cancer specifically, because it's more challenging to the current treatment options. Um, and after the Fulbright, one of my colleagues actually she shared with me the announcement or the call for the regional program L'Oréal UNESCO for Women in Science. It was a regional program for Levant and Egypt. And I applied for that program as well, and I got the award, and I was selected as fellow from Egypt that year, 2016. And this grant also was a very important one, and it was an important step in my career. And you get the grant for doing the research project in your own country. Even they give you the money in the currency of your country to make sure that you are doing the research in your own country. So even if I got I got the award when I was still in my Fulbright fellowship, but I didn't start using the money for my research until I get back to Egypt, because this was one of the conditions, is to use the money for research in Egypt. Okay. So it's very important, and I see a lot of uh, amazing women here in the attendees. So I encourage you to search for the Women in Science, L'Oréal UNESCO for Women in Science applications. There is a lot of regional and national programs. I personally contribute as a panel member in the Sub-Saharan Africa program. So there is a program for the region of Sub-Saharan Africa, and they give the award for a significantly large number of promising female researchers. So I encourage you to apply. And now for Egypt, there is a national program now. Egypt now has its own regional, national program. So please search for this opportunities, applications for the L'Oréal UNESCO for Women in Science. And as an advice for applications for this program, your application should be related to your research record, and should be something of priority to your country. So those two conditions are very important in the evaluation process. Also, I learned about two important organizations, and I was honored to be selected as a member in both. The first one is the African Academy of Sciences. It's a very important one. And also I encourage you to please search for the time for when you can apply to the African Academy of Sciences as an affiliate. This also was a turning point in my career, and you will have connections with a lot of African researchers, and you will also get like newsletters for funding opportunities for African researchers. Even if you didn't apply for the affiliate membership, please at least subscribe for the newsletters for the African Academy of Sciences. You will get the news for the funding opportunities. And also for the Global Young Academy, they have a newsletter. So also please apply for that. The last point I want to share is for searching for a bigger impact or the community service. So I started to, I developed a platform for cancer prevention awareness. The platform is Cancer and the Castle Guardians. This is the name of the platform. You will find it on the Facebook and Instagram. It provides cancer prevention awareness information written in Arabic and in English. So please, I would be grateful if you follow this platform, or if you help me to reach out to more people in Africa to benefit from the advice that is posted on the platform. Okay, so I will end with that. And I would like to thank you again for attending this session, and I would like to open the door for questions. So if you have questions, please, you can use the hand raise function, and I can take your questions. I will be happy to hear your questions or your comments.
Thanks, Dr. May.
Hello, welcome, Marwa.
Hello. Hello. I am from Egypt, lecturer of clinical pathology, Faculty of Medicine, Azhar University. I thank you. I want to thank you for much about your presentation and your story. When you talk about a project that you made in Egypt after you returning from the United States, something is dropped. I don't know how you have this project, the foundation, and how can we get funding for أو do project for funding أو and thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So I was talking about how to deliver what I learned to as much people in my network as possible. So I'm working in a university, so I took the chance to add the microRNAs in the curriculum for one of the postgraduate courses to make sure that our postgraduate students that are registered for pharmacology master's degree to study about microRNAs and to know that there is something called microRNAs. So this is what I did, and um, uh, this is one thing. So the other thing related to microRNAs, I worked in a project with the same lab, and when I returned back, I completed the writing of the paper that I worked with the same team. And regarding to the funding, you can apply for funding. As you know, the biggest funding organization in Egypt is as a STDF. You can apply for a project, but you need to wait for the open calls. And there is also some funding opportunities offered by the ASRT, I think the Academy of Science and Technology. They also offer some support. And you can also apply for the L'Oréal UNESCO for Women in Science. There is awards for PhD students and 2 awards for postdocs from Egypt. So you can also apply for that. It's good source of funding.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I see one question in the chat from Dr. Zainab. Thank you for your question. It's about the platform. I made that page on Facebook and Instagram, and I post on post pages. I do posts related to my area of expertise. I'm focusing on cancer research, and I see that a lot of work already published about some causes related to cancers or some advice that we can use in cancer prevention. But this is not reaching to the audience or the public because it is published in papers and the papers are written in complex language. So I try to write simplified posts about advice based on science to contribute in cancer prevention. So you can find posts related to how the consumption of red meat is related to the incidence of some cancers, and advice on grilling, for example, because if the meat or some food is over grilled, this is a risk for certain types of cancer, and some general advice to minimize risk for cancers, like keeping healthy lifestyle, maintaining exercise at least 30 minutes a day for 4 days per week, and the importance, for example, for having fibers or whole grains in diet, and some advice for skin cancer prevention, for example, and the importance of sunscreens, and that certain types of sunscreens, they have uh, some harmful ingredients. So I try as much as possible to write simplified advice, and it's backed by scientific research to make sure that would reach to the public. I try as much as possible. So Dr. Zainab, please go ahead. I can't hear you. Maybe there is a problem in the audio. Okay, Dr. Zainab. Sure. I shared my contact details in the Excel sheet that I shared earlier in the large group chat. So you are welcome to reach out and to connect. I would be honored to connect with you. You are welcome, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you. Thank you for attending. I think we have only 15 seconds remaining, so I will thank you again for joining me in that session, and I hope it was not boring, I hope. And I'm so happy to connect with you.
Thank you.